We are where we are. We are who we are. We have built what we have built because we have been willing to take radical responsibility. So today is not about all the things that we're doing wrong. It's actually a celebration of all of the times that we've done this, and more so, how do we do it more?
Chad Peterman here, and you are listening to Can't Stop the Growth, a platform for leaders and teams to grow and thrive. We highlight the importance of personal development, pursuing greatness, and always chasing your potential. Let's get into it.
The next book that we're going to cover is one that I've read a couple of times. It is really, really good. Where Maxwell is more like tactical, this is what you need to do. This is more like kind of internal, like reflecting, like what is my mindset as I approach being a leader, leading other people. And so really excited to go back over it. It's been actually a couple years since I read this, but it is called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. It looks big. It's actually a pretty easy read. There are pictures and all sorts of things in here. So if that's more your jam, I got the one for you. So again, 15 commitments. We'll cover one as I talk through them. Selfishly, that makes it pretty easy to stay organized, right? I just go one chapter at a time. Today, the first commitment, which is like the baseline of this entire book, is radical responsibility. So we've talked before in it's been a minute, but like, you know, you hear of like Jocko Willink, if you follow any of his stuff, extreme ownership, all the same stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to get into it. We're going to understand what that means, what that looks like, because I have a feeling we're going to be setting some records, which is going to be really fun to celebrate. So as we start out, what I want you to think about is a time when something didn't go your way. Maybe it was here at work. Maybe it was personally. Maybe it was something difficult within your team. What was your first instinct? Like when something went wrong, what was your instinct? Was it to blame, complain? I've been there, right? First thing we do when there's a problem, I'm going to complain about it, right? Oh my God, they did it again. Oh crap, what have we done? Haven't we done this before? Can we not figure this out? We've all been there, right? And that's a natural reaction. That is how we are wired. But what we're going to talk about today is how do we flip that? How do we go from, oh, someone did this, or oh, someone didn't do what they were supposed to do, to taking radical responsibility for what has happened. We are where we are. We are who we are. We have built what we have built because we have been willing to take radical responsibility. So today is not about all the things that we're doing wrong. It's actually a celebration of all of the times that we've done this, and more so, how do we do it more? How do we do it faster? How do we flip from blame and complaining and justifying to flipping that switch to, that was my immediate reaction. Okay, now how are we going to fix that? That's the key, right? We do this on a daily basis. We have the team. We're able to do what we do because people take radical responsibility every single day. The goal of today is how do we do it faster? How do we do it quicker? How do we avoid falling into that trap of constantly blaming, complaining, justifying, all of those things? How do we get out of that? And so today, like I said, we're going to identify what it looks like, because that's the key, right? We have to identify when we are in that state and how do we move to that better state. So one of the things that we talked about, it's been quite a few years ago. I actually had like a thing on the wall, I think in the old building. It was called above the line or below the line. We even had bracelets made. I still wear mine. I don't know how old this thing is. It's faded. It's not on there anymore, but I still wear it because I still know what it represents. My wife hates it because in the summertime, I get this nasty tan line. We've done family pictures a couple times. She's like, will you take that stupid thing off? And I do. And then I still have it on. But we had these because it was all about how do we move above the line. Below the line is where we're blaming, justifying, criticizing. Above the line is where we're curious, where we're willing to learn, where we're willing to be part of the solution. And so all of this below the line stuff is all about being the victim, right? We do it daily in our lives. I've told you countless times about how I approach my kids. Being a parent doesn't come natural to me because my kids don't listen. Okay. They're little kids, right? They've got a mind of their own. They want to do what they want to do. And that does not, I am a very C personality. This is the way it needs to be. This is what time we're leaving. You need to get dressed now. We're going to brush our teeth. We're going to do all of this. And they don't want any part of that. And I've told you multiple times that, like, when I go into parenting, or more so getting them up in the morning as a prime example, when I go into it with excitement and wanting to be the best dad ever, they seem to act a little bit better, as opposed to when I'm irritable and yelling at them and, come on, get in the damn car. Let's go. Pick up your stuff. No, you only get one snack, not two. All of these conversations happen every morning. But the mornings in which I prepare myself to be a better leader, when I prepare myself to be above the line as opposed to below, better things happen. It is my belief that we attract how we show up. How do you show up? How did you show up for your team this morning? How do you show up on a daily basis? Because my guess is they feed off of that. If you're in a good mood, if you're excited about the day, if you're curious, willing to learn, I have a feeling they would be too. Now, why does this radical responsibility matter so much? Like, what's the difference between going, oh, okay, I'm below the line, whatever, it was someone else's fault, it wasn't mine, who gives a shit, they'll figure it out. We didn't hit our goal because Billy sucked this month, you know? Well, when we blame and justify, we give up total control. And what I know about being somewhat of a control freak is that I do this a lot because I'm like, it should be this way. I don't understand, rather than being curious, rather than, well, that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I'm sure we'll figure it out. I've told you the story many a times. I am this is what time we're leaving. Yes, it's a made up time. My wife she don't follow that system. The system doesn't follow. If it's 6, she'll be walking down at 6:05. She says it's 6, but then there's a whole lot of other things that happen after she makes it downstairs that are still eating into the time. But why does that bother me so much? Is it just okay? Who cares? Could I be part of the solution? It also eliminates the drama. Drama is created when we are below the line. And unfortunately, we create a lot of it ourselves. We always say it's somebody else. But in the majority of the times, think about it, a lot of it is us. What if we would have approached that situation a little bit differently? Would there have been any drama? When we take responsibility, it diffuses all of that. Has anyone ever been in a situation where someone's upset and you come in curious? You come in ready to learn? I always say this, the number one thing I do to get above the line is each morning I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. It's impossible to be in a bad mood when you're grateful. That's just one little thing. We're going through something with Blake right now where she's got a little bit of an attitude. 6 going on 7. Anytime she's got the droopy face, I say, smile. You got to smile. Smile. It's not that bad. Got a pretty good gig going here, honey. And when she smiles, most times, everything's okay. Wasn't that bad. Smiling, being grateful, giving someone a compliment. We're never going to be always above the line. It's impossible. You're going to fall below. Again, the key is, how do I get from below to above quicker? A lot of it is understanding how we react to situations. How are we processing this information? You know, when I think about below the line, I can also think about a week like last week. We're waiting on summer. Where the hell's it at? Come on, please. 90s would be nice. I want to walk out and sweat, you know? And what happens when you get really busy? Shit breaks, right? Ooh, shit, we weren't ready for that. We don't have enough people. We're selling more systems than we can put in. All of the things, right? All of the things. But as I said at the beginning, another piece of this is understanding how often everyone here takes radical responsibility. I'm going to call out an example here in the spirit of celebrating. Some of you may know, some of you may not. In 2021, I just looked it up actually, we purchased a company in Bloomington, Indiana. That company in 2020, we bought it in April of 21. That company that we bought did $1 million in revenue for the entire year. Small startup here. Alex and his team just did $1 million last month. In 21 working days, they did what it took someone else 365 days to do. Now, you can't tell me that both Alex and team, all of our internal team that supports them, all of that stuff, you can't tell me that there's not a lot of radical responsibility going on in that branch. Look at the company as a whole. The company as a whole, I looked this up this morning. Let me get this right. I don't want to misquote here. How many have been here for 5 years? Who was here in 2020? In 2020, in the month of June, we did 2.8 million. Last night, we finished at 8.9. You don't get that type of result without people taking radical responsibility. You don't get that type of result without people solving problems, making things better, fixing process, procedure. You don't think we don't know a hell of a lot more than we did 5 years ago? I was sitting there. We didn't have a freaking clue. Think about all the people that were in one position, maybe even 2 years ago, that are in a different position now because of the responsibility that they took for their results. You know, the tough part about radical responsibility as a leader, results aren't immediate. Because as we talk about leadership, you're further away from the people that actually produce the results. You're further away, which naturally makes you want to think, I have less control. But what are all the things that you do have control over? What are all the things that you could do just a little bit better? We all waste time. I'm great at it. Find a good show on Netflix. I got a few for you if you need some. But what could I be doing instead? What could I be doing to chase my best? It starts with that responsibility. You know, when I think about my month, last month in June, and I think about if we want to set a record this month in July, we've got 22 working days, even with the holiday. What a nice little treat. If we want to set a record, the all-time record at this company is $10.16 million in a month. It was set in June of 23. Now, I'm fairly confident we're going to break that, but we're not going to break it if I'm just sitting in my chair. That ain't going to work. If we want to do something that has never been done, we have to take responsibility and do things that we've never done before. So here's just a short list. I'll send you the completed list by the end of the week of what my goals are this month. So in June, I reached out to a little over 200 people on Indeed. Well, that wasn't enough. My goal this month is 500. It's 23 a day. It takes me roughly about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on where I'm searching and what I'm searching for. It takes me roughly an hour to do 23. So I think I can get there. The other thing that we committed to at the beginning of this year that I've fallen off on that I think can influence us setting a record is celebrating more and telling people how great they are doing. I've fallen off that. I'm coming back with a vengeance. 200 thank you notes, customers and people here, and 500 text messages. I think they're free nowadays, so we'll just rip them, you know? Hopefully you got iMessage. Any of you with an Android, we'll talk after. Come on. Green bubbles. Come on, people. But those text messages, birthdays, guys having great days, people internally, that's something I have control over. Every day I wake up, I can make the choice whether to do that or not. Now, is a text message going to immediately result in us hitting a goal? No. Hell, some of the ones I send out, I don't get a response. I know they saw it. But what can I do? I know what I did last month, and it wasn't enough to set a record. So we're going to up the ante. We're going to go for more. So again, some of these things are hard to find, right? It's like, well, how am I going to directly influence this? Below the line is crossing our fingers and hoping something good happens. Below the line is blaming something that we don't have control over. What could we do just a little bit better? Last month, these were my actions. This was the result. This month, these are going to be my actions. And my hope is we get a better result. And maybe that result isn't just hitting the budget number or whatever it is. Maybe it's to build more team chemistry. Maybe it's to work with someone who's really struggling. Maybe it's to reach out more to the guys that are doing a great job. Maybe it's to work better with another team here at the company. Hey, I think this is where we're at, and I found myself doing this, and I want to do this. And we're going to make a concerted effort to do that. Because guess what? Your example matters a hell of a lot more than your words. As I was reading through this morning, I was like, well, I can't sit up here and just not say I'm just going to like, hey guys, go take some responsibility. I'm just going to kind of chill out here and hang out and we'll see what happens. No, damn it. We're going to go fight for this because guess what? We have the ability to do it. So it's our responsibility to show all of those watching that it can be done. How do we move above the line quicker? We move via action. You have to take action. And that action starts by identifying what is in my control. What do I have control over on a daily basis? How am I contributing to maybe a problem that we need to solve this month? What's my role in the issue? Not somebody else's problem. What is my role? How can I be of benefit to the situation? How can I approach a situation differently that may result in someone else taking a different action? We're always quick to blame a field professional. How quickly do we analyze how we approach the situation? Were we curious to understand why they may be struggling? Did we try to understand how we could be a better leader for them so that they could do maybe more? We have amazing stories all over this company. But guess what? Everyone you lead needs something a little bit different. Some, they don't need a whole lot. They're doing great things. Could they do even more? And what could your role be in that? What could you do for that person? The person who just set a record this month, what are you going to do to challenge them to do something even bigger? Because it's possible. And again, it's not about blaming yourself. Just because, as we've talked through this, you've thought about a time this past month when like, oh shit, that didn't go over so well. And now that I think about it, that was kind of on me. Fine. Who cares? We said at the beginning, everybody is going to fall into this. Everybody is. So don't blame yourself. It's what we all do. Happens every day. I will sit up here and give this talk, and I can guarantee you I will fall below the line today at some point in time. 100%. My hope is that we remember this talk and we flip. We get above the line to go solve the problem. Because in fact, most of them are not problems. They are simply an opportunity to identify something to make it better. And guess what? I think you're all aware that in this business, it will never be perfect. Ever. We're always going to have things to work on. As I've told some of you, if there wasn't anything to work on, we wouldn't need you here. This thing would just hum on down the street. It'd be great. Woo! But you're here because you're willing to take radical responsibility. You're here because of how you approach situations. Can we turn it up a notch? Can we dig in to identify the times when we are below the line and get above the line faster? Because if we do, you will begin to see the results. It may take a little bit of time, but stick with it. Any big goal takes time. No one set a big goal and accomplished it tomorrow. Probably not going to happen. So again, as we close here, think about this as you go into today. Name the times when you fall below the line. Oh, Billy didn't show up again. Oh, we didn't get the calls. Oh, we got too many calls. Whatever it is, how can you be part of the solution? We already know it's a problem. How do we work together to find the solution and make something better? And never forget what you have already helped build. You're doing it. We wouldn't be where we are and have come from where we came from if people didn't do this on a daily basis. You're doing it. How do we do it more often?
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to connect with me personally, you can find me at chadmpeterman.com. To see what our team's up to, you can visit petermanbros.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel and consider joining the CSTG arena. As always, keep growing out there.